Thank you, Mr. Kowach. Mr. Hall, Mr. Raber, Mrs. Pearson, school board, parents, friends, and fellow graduates. First, I want to thank my family, my mom and dad who were by my side the entire time through everything. They helped me through every difficult situation. They helped me process what happened and why it happened. Jess, who always answered whenever I called, whether it was just to ask for advice or to talk. You've always been there. Rachel, who's my biggest fan, always supports me and has my back no matter what. I want to thank my coaches and teachers who pushed me every day to become better. I want to thank them for being flexible and working with me when times got difficult. You were always understanding and truly cared how I was doing. Even teachers like Hop and Mr. McCown, who either I had several years ago or sadly never had, you were interested in how I was doing and took the time to ask every time I saw you. I want to thank my friends who made a bigger impact on my life than they probably realized. Specifically, Rick, Will, and Lizzie. You took time out of your busy schedules to come visit me in the hospital. That's something I'll never forget. Sadie, you helped keep me sane through AP Bio and AP Chem, but more importantly, you cared how I was doing during rough times. I want to thank my classmates, some of whom I've attended school with for 14 years now. Whether you realize it or not, you push me every day to become a better student, a better friend, and a better child of God. I believe there are many of you who worked hard and who deserve to be giving this speech, and probably many who would be better at giving it than I am. I believe the class of 2016 is an exceptional class. Your achievements in and out of the classroom are remarkable. At the same time, some of the questions and comments made in the classroom by some of us would like to forget. For instance, here are a couple. Wait, the Alps are different than the Appalachians? Or did they call it the Dark Ages because there was no sun? But on a more serious note, while I believe every graduating class leaves its own mark on the school, I think this class has been one of the highest achieving and academically excellent in Blackhawk history. This class had a seventh of our class, signed letters of intent to play in a sport at the next level. And that number could have easily been higher as several chose not to play in college. This class successfully put on 2 challenging theatrical productions, Our Town and Seussical, not to mention the others throughout our academic careers. Musically, our class has excelled. We have won gold multiple times at ISMA throughout our high school careers, and for the first time in Blackhawk history, we earned a perfect score at state twice. I feel honored to be a part of this class. When I hear of everyone's future plans, I see that we have set lofty goals, have high aspirations, and are pursuing what we love. We are moving on from here and into places where we will make a difference, whether it is in the STEM field, teaching, or ministry. While I speak highly of your future plans, I remind you that in Proverbs 16, it says, "We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps." We don't know where our paths will lead, but for many of us, this is it. Our paths may never cross again. I think of the Wizard of Oz, a yellow brick road that leads directly to the Emerald City. It's bright and easy to see. The path is well groomed and straight. This is our idea of the path our life will take. We know where it leads, and we can see ahead of us what the path looks like. It's smooth sailing, it's safe, it's predictable. Unfortunately, this is not the reality. The path may currently look like our ideal yellow brick road, but it won't stay like this forever. There will be twists in the road, and we'll soon find out that our personal map doesn't match the actual path. Realistically, about 70% of us will change our major at least once, which means in the next 3 years, statistically, about 70% of us, at the very least, will encounter one twist in our yellow brick road. At some point in the future, that perfect path we envisioned will disappear. For some of us, we may have already left the yellow brick road and may feel like we're just wandering aimlessly in the wilderness now. But for all of us, a day has come, or will come, when life won't make sense. It won't go the way you want it to, it won't go the way you think it will. Many of you know how my path was drastically altered a little over a year ago. In the middle of my junior year, January 24th to be exact, I was diagnosed with both mono and strep. In my mind, I saw my path as 1 week to recover from strep and 2, maybe 3 to recover from mono. This was my yellow brick road at the time. The initial week of treatment went on, Emma continued to worsen to the point where I couldn't eat or drink because it was so painful to swallow. Because of my worsening symptoms, I was admitted to the hospital. I was given a different medication and was told that if my symptoms didn't improve by the next morning, then they were going to do an emergency tonsillectomy because they were worried about my ability to breathe. My official diagnosis was a sinus infection, strep, and infections due to EBV and CMV. But even with a known diagnosis, I still had complications which resulted in a trip to the ER a week later. I was unable to return to school for several more weeks, almost 6 weeks after this had all began. I was able to rejoin the basketball team for the last few games of the season, but I physically couldn't handle any more than 2 minutes at a time. It took until spring to get a majority of my missed work made up, and again I say thank you to my teachers for being patient with me and working with me. Despite this all occurring during the middle of my junior year, I still deal with the effects of it. Another flare-up of EBV early in my senior year took me out of school for another week. Once again, I had to build up my physical stamina to start basketball in November. I've had to be careful with my time and energy most of this year, being careful to rest on top of a full academic and basketball schedule. At times I felt overwhelmed by these problems and frustrated with my limitations. But I believe that everything happens for a purpose. In other words, bad things happen, but they work out for our good. What I learned from that experience is that while we can't choose where the path leads, we can choose our reaction to what happens. In his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey says, it's not what happens to us, but our response to what happens to us that hurts us. Of course, things can hurt us physically or economically and can cause sorrow, but our character, our basic identity, does not have to be hurt at all. In fact, our most difficult experiences become the crucibles that forge our character and develop the internal power, the freedom to handle difficult circumstances in the future, and to inspire others to do so as well. As a believer, I find comfort in God, who specifically laid out each of our paths. Everything that happens to us happens for a purpose. There are no accidents or mere coincidences. What we need to realize is that our personal map doesn't match the actual path. God's path for us is straight and perfect, bringing about the outcome He wants for us. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight.